Hey everybody, it's Pete. Welcome to a new episode of Stocks for Breakfast. If you find these videos helpful, definitely do me a favor, click down and subscribe. You'll get updates and you'll obviously get my stock picks every day. Today I want to talk about something that is super interesting, and it's making the leap from somebody who's studied a lot of books about charts, probably watched a bunch of videos like this, which thank you, I appreciate it. And then you actually start trading, and we're going to specifically talking about a day in the life of a day trader, and specifically the decisions that you have to make as an active trader. I think that there's a giant gap between when somebody is swing trading or new to the markets. They open their they open their account for the first time and they start to buy stuff, and they just kind of hang on to it for a day or two or three or four, and maybe even a couple of weeks, which for a day trader is a lifetime. And the market just kind of does whatever it's doing. And then eventually a stock might float back up and that trader feels like they know what they're doing and they make some money. The problem with that is you're not an active participant in whether or not you made money. You certainly weren't controlling risk, that's for sure, because at any moment, and I'm seeing this firsthand, by the way, with some new people that absolutely need to be in the boot camp because they just don't have a plan, they don't have structure, they don't have discipline, and certainly don't have the mindset. But after a few days, they finally understand that it's active. You have to be a part of the success. So there's that leap from, well, the market always comes back, into now I want to day trade and I'm going to do the same thing in this faster market and I'll make money quicker. But actually the opposite happens, where if you don't make decisions as a day trader, if you aren't prepared to make decisions as a day trader, you're going to get your clock cleaned. There's no other way to put it. And quite honestly, you're going to end up being frustrated that you think day trading doesn't work. You think that a system that you're used as a swing trader doesn't work, when it's really the difference in the environment. It's the way I talk about it a lot. And I haven't really talked about this in the boot camp a lot, but the way I used to talk about it when I had my firm is that day trading versus swing trading is like baseball versus softball. They look like exactly the same game. And I'm even talking about professional baseball versus weekend softball, where you're just hanging out with your friends and having some beer. Baseball at its highest levels, which I played baseball until I was 37. I was a catcher, go Catchers, and a big Mets fan. It's fast. It is fast and a completely different game. There's so much more strategy that goes on in baseball, and you really need to think things through. Softball, you can have a beer, hang out, miss a couple of innings, and not really matter that much. Baseball and day trading are where it's an active. I'm getting off topic here a little bit because I want to make sure I drill the point home, because I'm going to actually use some examples. Here's the gap. The biggest gap that people have right now when they make the leap from holding stuff for a few weeks to day trading is they're not prepared to make decisions. This is really where the conversation comes from. Yesterday I had a meeting with one of my friends, Jeff, who's been a trader since 1995. And he said the single biggest thing that he believes that new traders have a problem with is understanding that you could change your mind as a day trader. You could love the idea at 10 o'clock in the morning and not like the idea anymore at 10:20, and then love it again at 10:40 because the circumstances have changed. But our job as a trader is to wait for those opportunities that are better and then get in there and make the trade, manage the trade, make the trade, manage the trade, make the trade, manage the trade. And I think that's a part of the problem that swing traders coming into day trading don't understand, is that because of the quick price action, because of the, we call them the one candle that's gonna ruin your day, you need to be able to get back into that trade. You need to be able to put that trade back on. You need to be able to scale out of the trade, put the trade back on. And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. It becomes a lot when, number one, you're not prepared to make that decision. Number two, you're watching too many stocks. That's a huge problem for traders, especially newer traders, where they're in a community, like maybe they're in the boot camp right now, and I have a bunch of years experience. Some other people have a bunch of years experience, and you just started trading 3 weeks ago, and you're trying to keep up with everything. You should not be trying to keep up with everything. You should be watching maybe 2, 3 stocks. That's it. And mastering the strategy of order flow and tape reading on those 3 stocks. Don't care about what anybody else trades. Don't care about anything else. Use the other trades as education. but you should only be trading your stocks. It is sacrilege if you came into the day with a game plan, found ideas that you like, and you missed an entry. It is sacrilege. That is your business. That is your job for that day. And we've actually started recently calling them a deal. I did a deal today in Microsoft. I did a deal today in Amazon. I did a deal today in Tesla. And you're basically weighing how good that deal is. But if those are the only 3 deals that you come into the day with, or maybe you came into the day with 5 deals that you like the idea, and 2 of them did exactly what you expected them to do, you can't miss those opportunities. That's your job. Your job is to actively participate. And I'm going to walk through a couple of charts here because I get questions. Can you just show me what you're doing? Can you show me what I'm supposed to be looking at? We're going to use Run, which if you're a regular subscriber to the channel, and if you watch Best Stock Picks every day, Run, it was a stock that we called out last week, finally triggered this week and just exploded and hit our profit target in 2 days. But then there's the intraday aspect of managing the trade, because everybody wants it to be like, tell me exactly what to do. Tell me exactly the spot to get in. And the truth is, day trading, again, you need to make decisions, but it's easier to make those decisions while you're only in a fewer stocks, so you can focus and really be on top of those stocks. So we're going to briefly go over here a day in the life of a trader and setting it up. So if we set it up, we're not going to get into scanning and looking for ideas. At this moment, we're just going to talk about ideas on the higher time frame and ideas, how those ideas translate into what do you do after the market opens. And we're going to kind of go rapid fire here. So I'm going to go over to the charts. I'm going to first show you my bigger screen, and then we're actually going to go into just some day trading opportunities and how to manage them, really. That's the big thing. So you can see here, I've brought the screen up quite a bit. So during the day after the market opens, I look at the weekly, the daily, the hourly, and then this 5-minute chart. I'm typically alternating between 5 and 15-minute charts to get a feel for what's going on right now. So to make it clear, what I'm looking to do here is do nothing more than time entries in the direction of my bigger ideas. So this is actually the trade that we were talking about before, where Run had a really strong bullish price action and it pulled back, which is one of my favorite strategies, is finding a better spot and expanding the risk target and having a definitive profit target. We ended up having a really nice trade, both as a day trade and as a swing trade here. But what I want to do now is I'm going to pull the screen back a little bit, and we're going to go into looking at these same type of setups. We're going to look at them on a shorter time frame. So we're going to look at the weekly chart, we're going to look at the daily chart, and we're going to do some rapid fire idea generation and see what those trades look like on an intraday basis. So let me actually just zoom this out a little bit here so that we can look at the full day. So let's actually start here with Run, and I'm going to zoom this out a little bit so that we can go bar by bar, which I think is kind of interesting. So we already knew coming into the day that the first thing we wanted to do is say, okay, we got long in this area over here. Best case scenario today, we want to see the stock well bid, which means it has to be higher highs, higher lows to confirm our idea. So going into the day, we're setting the conviction of knowing this is what I'm looking for. If I see this, I'm going to continue to hold this trade. If I'm not long the trade, I'm going to actually be looking to day trade the stock up into this profit target. So 2 different scenarios. One is already managing a swing trade, and another one is actually now, what do I want to see? So minimum criteria, I want to see it above yesterday's high, I want to see it above today's open, and I want to see a push and a pause. I want to see a little bit of momentum. So right out of the gate here, and I'm going to expand this a little bit so it's easier to see. Right out of the gate, the first candle of the day is green. So super quick right out of the day, all systems a go, we're seeing what we want to. Now, if we happen to be swing trading, which is a huge question right now in the boot camp, is how do I manage these trades when I'm looking at the screen all day, which scares the hell out of you because it's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down, and you get scared out of this position that you planned on holding for a week or up to your profit target, and one 5-minute candle shakes you out of the thing and then it moves $5 in your favor, and you ask me why. Don't day trade your swing trade ideas. You need to manage risk on the higher time frames, which is the daily chart, but you could work entries in the direction of your swing trade, but you're still using your daily time frame for that swing trade stop loss. So coming into the day, we know what we're looking for, and we know our profit target right up here, which was our first initial target. So the next candle comes in, and immediately I'm saying, okay, I still like this stock, but I don't like these topping tails. It pushed up and pulled back. It pushed up and pulled back. So now I'm like, all right, I got to pay attention to this. If this was just a one-day wonder and I'm looking to day trade it, I don't want to see it trade back into yesterday. If it does, I'll reevaluate. If I'm swing trading, I'm still good because my stop loss is all the way down here. So we go to the next candle. Okay, exactly what I do not want to see. So two things happened here. I did not get a day trading entry. The opening range formed. Now we have the opening high and the opening low. So I'm still sitting back. Nothing triggered yet if I'm a day trader. And if I'm a swing trader, still perfectly fine because my stop loss is all the way down here, which you can see that's not even, I'm not even in the same universe as my stop loss, right? But what I do like, what I'm seeing right now is now we had the opposite where we pushed down and came all the way back up. So there's another price action here that is now going to be a significant part of my day. So as of right now, that's the opening price in this stock. So two things. As of this moment, when this candle finishes, here's the previous day's close. So I'm below today's opening price. I'm above yesterday. So we got a little bit of a mixed bag, no entry signals yet. So I'm just sitting back. This is a big key to day trading because you're not really stressed out. You're basically just sitting back and saying, I already know which stocks I want to buy. Now it's just a question of me sitting back and saying, just look for entries that make sense. All right, next candle comes in. And if you're a regular viewer of the channel, or especially if you're in the boot camp, that matters now. We just got what was my personal favorite entry signal as a day trader, and it's called an inside 5-minute candle. I didn't invent it. Probably being used for 100 years. Nobody can claim it. It's like claiming who invented the hamburger. Inside 5-minute candle, to me, represents a pause in price action, represents a very clear entry signal, and more importantly, is it gives me a definitive stop loss. So I'm looking now to enter. If I'm looking for a day trade, I'm looking to enter above the inside candle. So we move forward and we triggered an entry. The price action here now traded above that previous candle. Now I'm in my first day trade. So where is my stop loss? My stop loss here has to be here. If I want to be a little bit more aggressive because I like to trade on the daily chart, which by the way, that's a decision you need to make. That's again, like driving, nobody's on the road versus it's 85. You can have a stop loss here. Excuse me, nobody on the road versus stop and go traffic. You can have a stop loss here, which is the first stop loss that I use, especially when I want to be aggressive with share size. I'm going to work the order until it starts to work out. Or if you're looking to let the stock run a little bit and you want a little wider stop loss, you could do down here, but I don't recommend that for these tighter time frames on the day trades. And what's beautiful about the stock, what's beautiful, a lot of people complain, I don't have enough money in my account. This is a $40 stock. So you don't, and PENN, P-E-N-N is another stock that we trade quite often, honestly. You don't need to be trading Tesla to make a living. You need to be in the right stocks. These stocks aren't in play all the time, but when they are, they produce some really amazing opportunities. So that's the first entry, and we have our stop loss. Now you have to make a decision. If I get stopped out, what does that need to look like? Well, we said it has to trade below this price. Now you need to make a decision. If it trades below there, does it have to close below that level? Does it have to tick below that level? For me, it needs to close below that level. So now we're going to move forward a little bit. So now moves in our favor. Adding to the argument now we're well bid on the 5-minute chart. Higher highs, higher lows, looks good, but I still don't like the fact that we're getting these wicks. But what is interesting now is now price is above the opening price. Now I can actually get up, go to the bathroom, and have a coffee for 2 seconds, right? As a day trader, it seems like all of that's happening. All right, now you have to keep saying, what do I want to see? What don't I want to see? What do I want to see? What don't I want to see? We're above the opening price and well bid again. We're now well bid again. So what else is happening here? We've also taken out the high of the opening 15 minutes here. We're pretty close to that. So we know that as one of our main areas to determine what's going on during the day. A little bit of profit taking. And now we're well offered. Well offered, but we pushed back up. But here's the important thing. We're in the trade. We're long from down here, but we're still above the opening price. We're still positive from the open, and we got nice, solid momentum move in our favor. Everything is good. So this pullback doesn't matter. Now, you have a decision. Where is my stop loss? Am I going to leave my stop loss down here, or am I going to move it up? Well, we know our entry price is here, and we know the opening price is here. So now I'm not putting necessarily a stop loss in the market. Now I'm just paying attention. I'm saying what I want to see versus what I don't want to see. I don't want to see the stock close back below the opening price because that means sellers came back in. So again, I'm thinking all of this through. I'm not just passively sitting here watching reruns on television. I'm actually managing what I do want to see, what I don't want to see. What do I want to see? What don't I want to see? You have to keep saying that. If this happens, then I'll do this. If this happens, then I'll do this. So now we move forward. We go well bid again, but 2 melted candles. Melted candles, small body candles. So I'm like, all right, I still like it. Still above the opening price. Not loving it. I'd prefer to see a lot more of this, but still good because we're still above the opening price, still above yesterday's close. Another insight candle. So now this is a question I get all the time. Would I consider adding to this position here? Would I consider adding to this position here? Remember, we said that insight candlestick is a new entry price, right? So in this particular instance, it's still too close to my previous entry. It's roughly 60 cents, which for a $40 stock, I could see that. Not enough yet. Not far enough away where if I put on another share, one pullback would bring me back to break even. Not enough for me to add to it yet. But if you were not in the trade yet, let's actually unwrap that. Now we're positive from the open, positive from the previous close, and now we have a higher entry price that we could use to stop. Now we could make a decision on 2 stop losses. We could say that the entry would be above this candle, and the stop loss would be below here, or the stop loss could be if it closes here. Now, this is a decision you have to make as a trader. Do I want a little bit wider stop loss because we have a really good setup that exploded yesterday? Again, that's up to you. If you're a newer trader, you might find this to be too tight. It might be too close for you. You might get stopped out like that. That's up to you. I keep it to that same 5-minute candle for a reason, because if it doesn't work out, I scale out or get out, and that's a big part of trading as well. I don't get scared out of a position. I know what I'm going to do. That's where traders lose control. Because, oh my God, it moved against me. What am I supposed to do now? You should know that. You heard me saying it. If this happens, I'm doing this. If this happens, I'm doing this. So let's just say, for argument's sake, you weren't in a trade and now you're looking to put the trade on. So this trade now actually triggered. It traded above there and it closed below there. So what do you do now? It closed below there by a couple of cents. Do you take a stop loss, even though following the rules and it closed there? I would say no. I'm not going to let a 2-cent trade below my stop loss take me out. I would have my finger on the trigger if we get another big candle in the opposite direction, if you happen to be day trading and you're strict in following the rules. Next move. Okay, we continue to move sideways basically here. All right, now we're seeing what we want to see. It's well bid and green. Higher highs, higher lows, and green. And by the way, 2-cent stop loss should not take you out of a position. You should get out of a position because the circumstances change. You can't look at that and say the circumstances changed. All right, you have to use a little bit of judgment. All right, so what do we want to see? What don't we want to see? Now we're here. Now what's interesting, whether I entered here or if I entered here, I would consider entering if we get above the opening, get above the high of the day and then pause. But again, when you have focus in your stocks and you're working the keyboard, you're only going through those stocks that are doing exactly what you want, especially in this volatile time of the day, you need to make these decisions. Before this happens, you need to say, okay, a pause above the opening, a pause above today's high would be somewhere I would consider looking for a second entry. All right, so we go well offered, not yet. And then we go inside candle again. So now if you're not long, or if you got stopped out over here, let's just say you super rule Sammy and you got out, you have another entry signal here, and you're possibly going to make a new high if you get triggered. All right, so the entry triggered and we printed new highs, but we didn't close above the highs. So we still like it, but not loving it yet, right? We still like it. We do love it because it's doing exactly what we're doing. But what I'd like to see is this kind of candle, but I didn't. So I'm not sizing up yet, right? All right, another inside candle. So what are we doing now? If you didn't get long yet, now you're looking at a pause at highs, probably just as good as an entry as the other one. And that entry triggers again. Okay, I'm good. Now we start cooking with gas. Now we actually break out, and now you're sitting back and you're saying, okay, I'm going to move my stop loss now up to break even. Maybe for some of the shares, but now the trade, let's go back to the higher time frame. Trade is doing exactly what we wanted to do. We had a pullback, consolidation, trend day yesterday, and it looks like we're forming a trend day again today. So we're still good on both of those entries. And now we pull back. Now the question is, do you get out of this trade because of this one candle? The answer is no. Has the circumstance changed? Well, since we pushed off the low of the day, we're actually trending higher the entire day. So 5 minutes worth of price action is not going to shake you out of the trade. It shouldn't shake you out of the trade. And here's where traders get lost. We're trading the bigger picture. We're not trading that 5-minute window. You're not trading the 5-minute trend. You're not trading the 5-minute candle. You're entering and managing some risk on the 5-minute time frame. You're not managing the trend, the order flow, the idea. It's not coming from the 5-minute chart. You have to keep that in mind. Now, I can hear you saying, but if it keeps pulling back, okay, if it keeps pulling back and you don't like it, scale out of some of it. But, this idea is phenomenal. It looks great on the monthly chart, looks great on the weekly chart, looks great on the daily chart. That's what you're trading. You're not trading this 5-minute window. So you can, and this is what I was talking about with Jeff yesterday. You scale out or you get out and you put the trade back on. We just had 3 entries in here. Any one of those 3 you could have used. So this pullback is not going to shake you out of your shoes, but now you should at least sit up in your seat and say, what don't I want to see? Before it happens, anticipate. You'll hear me say this all day in the boot camp. Anticipate, anticipate. Okay, what happens? We have another inside candle. So if you didn't get in any of the other 3, now you have a 4th entry. And another inside candle. So we call this inside 5. 2 entries there. Now it starts to move in our favor. And now the trade becomes a little bit easier to start managing. We actually have another entry there. And you can see during the day, the trade just really, really took off. During lunchtime, nothing to do there. Although there is another entry right here again, and you can see the explosion we get after that. Anyway, we'll zoom out. And the point that I want to make here is you need to be actively managing your position. The part that I want to get across here is, and obviously I'm using an example here where I don't want to make this video too long. I could do another one, and maybe I will. I'll actually try and get at least one of these done a week. If you're struggling as a day trader, if you're trying to figure out what it means to be a day trader, if you're trying to figure out what pieces of day trading you're missing, first off, invest in the boot camp, because I'm quite sure that you risk more than $295 on any one trade. And the boot camp is an entire month, and you get everything, including my teaching, my coaching, my mentoring, and my entries during the day. Number 2, you need to be an active participant in your day trading success. You need to be saying, if this happens, then I'm doing this. If this happens, then I'm doing this. If this happens, then I'm doing this. And then actually do it. Number 2, don't get shaken out and become this scared little kid when a 5-minute candle moves against you. You need to have consciousness that you're trading the bigger picture. That's the idea. Now, some day traders scalp. They're only looking at that minor time frame. I don't do that. I don't watch level 2 boxes when I trade during the day. I'm not looking at the 1-minute time frame during the day. I'm not trading penny stocks during the day. I'm trading liquid stocks that have plenty of volatility, plenty of shares at every price level, so I can get in or out pretty much where I want to. And those are the only things I'm doing during the day. So day trading is not as stressful as people make it if you have structure. That's the big thing. You go into the day knowing exactly which stocks you're looking at, and then you only look at those stocks. Turn off the scanners, turn off the alerts. Don't look at anything except for what you put in your plan during the day. And then bar by bar. I still like it. What do I do next? I still like it. What do I do next? What would make me change my mind? Maybe a stock pulls all the way back. You scale out, get out, have another signal, another entry. 30 minutes later, now you got to reevaluate. It might still be good. Maybe it's not as great as it was before. Maybe it pulled back. Maybe it's below the opening price. Maybe it pulled back, held the opening price. And you can get a feel for that, for how much you like the idea. So you might have loved it an hour ago. Maybe you just like it now and you work the trade a little bit and you work the position. So that's what it's like to be a day trader. It's not sit back, have coffee, put your feet up on the monitor, on your laptop, sit on the beach. If you actively participate, if you have in your mind day trading is baseball, swing trading is softball, you'll start to see there's a lot more. And man, if that, I was a catcher, if you get hit with a baseball, it hurts, okay? Especially with foul ball. Day trading is the same way. You have to pay attention or you're gonna get hurt. Is it hard? No, it's actually pretty easy. And I'm gonna say this again so you really drill it home. When you learn the right way to day trade, you have your ideas going into the day, then you have your watch list. And actually, you have your watch list going into the day where you say, these are the stocks I want to buy. These are the stocks I want to short sell, which hasn't been that common at all since March, but since the Fed package, the stimulus package. You're really then just sitting back and you're managing risk back and forth. You're basically saying, okay, let's enter some shares here. Let's add shares there. Let's scale out a little bit over there. Okay, we got stop that over there. Put that trade back on over there. That's real trading. It's not swing trading where you put the trade on July 3rd and you don't even look at it. Oh, it just comes back. Don't worry about it. That's not real trading. Okay, you're going to get your clock cleaned if you think that you don't need to trade with the stop loss. If you think that the market always comes back. We have a stimulus package under the market right now that is pumping the market up. The SPY did less volume again yesterday. The SPY keeps going up, the SPY ETF keeps going up, and the volume keeps dramatically coming down. That's not a normal picture. You want to see higher gaps, which we're getting, and you want to see volume in that direction. We're going higher on lighter volume. That's not a good picture. It's not a good picture. That's another story. That's for a different video. So if you want to learn about how to do all this stuff, keep watching the channel. Definitely subscribe. And if you really want to invest in yourself, definitely click down and learn about the boot camp. It's so worth it. I can't even tell you. We work really hard during the day. We have a great community. Hope this helped. And I'll do some more of these bar by bar videos when I have a chance. Thank you, everybody.